Okay, so I know I taunted you a lot with this Figma tool, and I didn't really go in depth on what it is. So you can get the software if you go to Figma. If you search Figma on Google, they have a browser version, so you don't even need to download. So if you search up Figma, you can go here, and basically it is used to create designs, to create UI, to create animations. There's a bunch of awesome things you can do with it. So basically you would use it to kind of prototype your website out. However, you can also use it for exporting images, adding your SVGs, changing them up, and all of those good stuff. So what I usually do is I get Figma. Let's open it up. So it's here after you download it. And you can click here on the plus symbol up here in the corner, and that's going to open up a new window. If you hold control, you can zoom, but you cannot see that right now. So what we can do is create a frame. So I can go here to the frame tool and I can drag out, or optionally, I can go up here and specify a width and a height. So I can do 1920 by 1080, which is a default full HD screen. If I hold the middle mouse, I can kind of move around. If I hold control and scroll, I can zoom in. Okay, so what I like to do is I usually like to get my icons from Icon Monster. So let me go here. Let me drag out a screen here for you so you can see. Icon Monster. I apologize, the Facebook message. Icon Monster. And here you're going to find a bunch of icons. Everything that you can imagine is going to be here, from logos, from Twitter logos to anything. So if we search Twitter, so let me kind of show you the process on what I do. Twitter. I download it, so I'm going to click here, I agree, and I want to make sure I get the SVG, because with the SVG you're going to get the power to kind of change the color of this, add linear gradient, and all of those good stuff. So, and by the way, an SVG, again, if you don't know, is basically it's kind of like code. It's not really a picture. Everything, all these lines and everything are mathematically calculated, which means that after you download this and drag it inside your project, you can basically make it as large as you want, and it's not gonna let me disable ad block. Oh my goodness, all right. Does it let me download? Basically, it allows you to scale it up infinitely because it's based on some calculations. It's not actually pixel based. So let me save this and take a look. If I just kind of want to illustrate this for you. If I drag this into Figma and drop it in here, as you can see, if I keep zooming in, it's not getting pixelated at all. So that's cool. So what I can do is scale this up to whatever size I want. Whoops, let me grab this actually. So you want to make sure you grab this whole group thing. As you can see, if I scale it up, nothing really happens. So I'm going to put it at a size that I like. Now, theoretically, you can resize this in CSS if you want, but I kind of like to mess around here and kind of do it my own way. So I know that this is not going to be huge and super large when I import it in CSS. And my index.html. So I like to resize it. I like to mess around here with the fill if I want to change the color of it, or I can go here to linear gradient and kind of mess around with this the way I want. So linear gradient, I can change this color and I can change this color. We can bring up the opacity here, something like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you can mess around with this the way you want, and then you can click on it and hit export. Okay, and then we can go here and switch to SVG, and then we can just hit export and save it wherever we want. Okay, so that's kind of the whole process I like to do with these icons. Now I'm going to show you another site which is called Undraw, and these have SVG illustrations basically. So let's search for Undraw, and the one we're going to use is this one. Let me kind of show you illustrations, and I took this one, Dev Productivity. So I downloaded this basically. I dragged it into my project, Undraw Dev Productivity, dragged it in here. Okay, and now I kind of started changing everything I want. So if I want to change the color of this clock, as you can see, we can open up this huge group, which is made up of all these small vectors. As you can see, so very small shapes. So what I did was I clicked on this, I changed the color to something else, click on this and kind of make it the way I like it. Okay, and when it comes to actually animating things, because we can animate these parts individually. So let me show you how I kind of process that thing. What I do is I kind of look at the things I want to animate. So maybe these leaves. So as you can see, if I click once, it's going to grab the whole group, but I actually want to grab that single thing. So you can do that in Figma by double clicking, and that's going to go inside the group and inside the element. So I grab this, I hold shift and just grab the things I want to animate. After I grab the things I want to animate, I can right click and add it to a group. So group selection, or you have Control G for shortcut. So I group it like that, and then I go here to the group and I rename it leaf right. Okay. And then I do the same thing to the other one. So maybe I want this, grab this, hold shift, grab this, Control G, group it up, leaf left. Actually, this is right. Oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. Anyway, when I provide you the image, it's going to be the correct way. But I kind of just want to show you, if you want to do it to other SVGs, how you do this. Let's say I want to animate this and kind of move it around and spin it in our HTML code. So I can just grab this single one and rename this to like arrow or clock thing. Clock, what is this, the pointer? And then this guy, we can grab him. So each individual part, holding down shift and just grab everything I can like this. Group, and I can rename this to me. Okay, and that's it. Then I go all the way up here to the whole big group. So I select everything, and then I'm going to go to export, and rather than exporting PNG, I'm going to switch to SVG. But here's the magic of Figma. We can hit these three dots, and I can do include ID attribute. And what this is going to do is it's going to add an ID to each of these groups and each of these vectors. And now the cool thing is we can just jump straight into CSS and animate them. So we don't even have to do anything. We just put it on the page and we start animating it without having to rename things, having to worry about anything. So that's it. That's the cool part about this. Now I also did a quick splash. So like a splash SVG, and for that I literally just got this arrow symbol and kind of dragged and hold the button and just drag out a random shape like this and close it up. And then I went to the color and I added a fill. I got rid of this stroke, and then here I went to a linear gradient and kind of drag these points around like this, and then change this to like a bluish color. And this one, let me bring up the opacity to like a cool color like this. I don't know, I kind of experimented with this. And then I drag this below here, and inside this frame we can drag it in here. Up, let's drag it all the way down so this guy comes on top. Okay, I kind of mess something up here. There we go. Okay, so there we go. You can kind of position this, make sure it's in the frame here, and this is above. Kind of position it the way you want, kind of resize it the way you want, like this. We don't want this to come out like this. Just get a interesting bubble or wave, and then you can hit export SVG and you are off to go. Okay, so these are the things that you're gonna have in your files there, but I kind of wanted to show you the process on how I created these. In the future, I might do a design specific course. So if you're interested in that, please leave some feedback or a message on the YouTubes or on Twitter or wherever you want to find me. And then we're going to go more into detail on how we can do prototyping in Figma, some design patterns and principles that are going to make your websites look awesome. Okay, so let's close this up and let's jump back to our code. See you there.